Well, I don't look cute, but I'm here, so we're gonna go with that. Sorry, I missed a video last week, you guys. Donnie and I were hit with a mucusy storm of snot. Way more information than he wanted, but yes, I didn't really feel that gross. I had like 1 or 2 days where I felt kind of icky, but then it's just a lot of mucus. But the main thing has been that poor Donnie, my 7-month-old, has the same thing, and it's just so much snot. And if any of you have had a baby who with any sort of snot situation, you know that they're just kind of miserable. So it was a very long week, and just trying to get him as much sleep as possible. Difficult for him to breathe, so there's a lot of hands-on mommy snot removal. One of the things you don't really think about before you have children is how little kids, and for a long time, they just don't know how to blow their nose. You can try and try and try. My 2.5-year-old still doesn't quite understand the concept of blowing out of her nose. So you just have to remove the snot for them for a long time. It's just part of life. Anyway, that is not what this video is about today. This video today is a video I've been meaning to make for months, and I don't really know why I haven't gotten to it. I think part of it is I'm afraid to put this out there, but I don't want to be afraid to put this out there. It's something I want to share more about, because it's something that I struggle with, and I'm sure there are others who feel the same way. And I just think talking about things that you're a little bit nervous to share that's usually a pretty good sign that I am talking about something that's worth sharing for me to kind of release and not hold on to, if nothing else. And hopefully maybe some of you can relate and not feel so alone in your feelings. So there we go. It's not a heavy way to start this video. I've got my tea. Let's jump right in. Right. Making friends is not easy as an adult. It's not. I did not have any trouble making friends as a child. I had wonderful friendships all throughout my grade school experience. I lived in one place. We moved kind of a good amount as a child. The difficulties for me really only started in high school, because I actually went to 3 different high schools across the country. I went to freshman year in Northern California. I did my sophomore year in the Boston suburbs, and then I did my junior and senior years here in the Midwest in the Chicago suburbs. And that was the only part where I had difficulty making friends, but I was also struggling with depression, and that's not what this video is about, so we're not going to go into that today. But I'll just say that I always found it easy to make friends and have friends, and I always treasured my friendships. I always had like 1 or 2 really, really close friends all throughout my school years, right? Up until, like I said, about that junior year, that 3rd high school, I just struggled. It took me a solid 5 or 6 months even to find my friends, but once I did, I had really great friends, and I'm still friends with many of them, and that's just wonderful. But that's when it started to get tricky for me, and that was when sort of my own personal emotional baggage started to get in my way. And I think that is definitely the biggest, if not the only thing at play with my difficulty with making friends as an adult. So, like I said, pretty great friendships, solid friendships, awesome friendships growing up, and then some personal emotional issues in my late teens, and definitely throughout college, and it just got harder. I made friends in my last 2 years of high school, and throughout my college career I had friends, but it was challenging for me to really get close to people. I had to really work at it, and this was when my anxiety was at the height of its everything. And I was also suffering from bouts of depression on and off throughout those like late teen, early 20s. And then I think it was around about like midway through sophomore year where I just didn't have an issue with depression anymore. I managed myself out of that state of mind. And that was also around the time when I started dating Don, or we had been in a relationship for a little while, and he was very helpful in kind of just reaffirming my self-worth. And I don't recommend looking for this in another person, but as a young person, that's where I looked for my self-worth, was in reflections of others. But anyway, another story for another time, I guess. Lots of segues here. So anyway, I graduated from college, still really good friends with our group of friends. Don and I had a mutual group of friends in high school from like senior year, and we stayed in touch, and we were really, really close those first few years out of college. And then people started to get into careers, graduate from med school or law school or wherever they were doing, grad school, and they started to move away and build families in other places. And while we're still in touch with our like, we have two couples that we're still, you know, friends with from high school, but none of us live in the same area anymore, and it's just hard. It's hard to stay in touch and stay connected when you're not in the same place, and you all have very busy lives, you know, with family and work and things like that. And it's tough. I mean, you really have to put the effort in, and I will be the first to say that I could do so much more, and I think about it all the time, and I'm like, why am I not putting in the effort? And then I think about my friends from the middle school years, from my Northern California buddies that were just my like sisters, you know? And I think, why am I not putting in the effort anymore? I used to really be on top of it. Like, I moved away from the Bay Area when I was, I'm like getting emotional, when I was 15, and for the rest of, you know, for at least a few years, I would say, I was really on top of staying in communication, sending letters, sending care packages. We didn't have like texting back then, but, you know, I was just trying to stay on top of being connected, and it got harder. It got harder to keep up with as time went on. And I still want to stay connected to these people. It's just like, if there's so much time and distance between us now, it feels a little bit hard. Do you know what I mean? These are just excuses. This is me standing in my own way of being close to people. And it's something that I've really been thinking about this year, is how I really, really would like to find my tribe, as they say. I would love to have even just one or a couple of friends in the area who I could see on a regular basis, you know, in kind of similar life situations, maybe with kids or with, I don't know. I would just like to find my tribe. I'd like to find a support network that I feel comfortable with, that I can give support to and I can receive support from. And I'm just like kind of yearning for this, a little network of friends. And like I said, even just like one person. And it's not like I'm sitting here like, woe is me, I have no friends. Like, that's not what this video is about. I'm not friendless either. I do have friends that I cherish, but it's just, I literally don't have any like local friends that aren't family. Family is different. I am so grateful for my family, and it is so wonderful that they live nearby, and they have become my network of friends. But I think there is something that it is important, I think, to have friends outside of your family. At least it feels that way to me right now in this season of my life. And it's something that I'm missing close by. Anyway, how to go about making friends is a mystery to me. I just don't know. I am at home most of the time with my kids. now that we're kind of entering more of a school kinds of settings with Charlotte going into pre-K probably in next year, and you know, that's what I feel like that will open up some more possibilities for me. But there have been some like social situations in the past few months where I could have the opportunity to make friends, and I just find myself like clinging to the wall. Like why am I so afraid, and why am I so nervous to let myself be seen? In order to make a real true friend, you have to be you 100%. And I think that's where in my late teens I started to get in my own way with the emotional things I was dealing with. I just started to doubt myself at that, you know, I think that's a very common experience in the late teens, is to kind of like question who you are and kind of go through transformations. And some people manage that much better than others. I don't think I managed it very well. And I ended up, that's kind of when I started doubting myself as like a person worthy of friendship. That sounds so sad to say that out loud, but I mean, if I'm just gonna whittle it down to the bare bones, that's what it is. And I have carried that with me. Now that was really, really intense at that time in my life, and then over the last, you know, 15 plus years, 20 years, oh my gosh, I'm 35, yes. So almost 20 years, I have worked a lot, and especially in the last 5 years, I would say, on building up myself again to where I feel worthy of love and friendship and that kind of mutual support, and that I feel like as a person, as who I am genuinely, without putting on any fronts, without bending over backwards to be a certain way or a certain, you know, without trying to mold myself to other people. Let me rephrase that. Without trying to mold myself into what I think other people want me to be. That's something I've been really, really working on the last 5 years. And I'm not there, you know, I'm not like 100% awesome at it, but I've definitely come a long way. And I realize I need to be at that place in order to be a good friend candidate. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just not a deep friendship if you're just trying to mold yourself to what you think somebody else wants you to be. I've done that so many times over so many years, and time again I have learned the lesson that it does not work. I think I'm doing the right thing and trying to be a certain way, to be a certain kind of person for somebody else, and it never works. Never, not once, never. It does not result in true connection. And it cannot, because it is not genuine. And it has taken me a long time to realize that, and a lot of life experience, and I'm still learning it. But I feel like this year is the first year where I feel like really open, really ready. You know, like I'm like, come on, let's be friends, let's make friends, like let's do it, Jen. And I'm still just, there's a part of me that's still that like 16-year-old, 17-year-old girl who's just afraid that I am not worthy of that kind of connection, that who I am as a person is not interesting or fun or worthy of somebody else's time and commitment. And that, I do not want to feel that way anymore. I don't. I've spent too long feeling that way, and I don't want to feel that way. And I feel like letting go of that is something I'm actively working on. It's very difficult, and I have to be very intentional with it. But letting go of that is what is going to open me up to the possibility of true connection and true friendship again. Like I have had in my past. It's been a long, long time since I was a little kid and I made true friendships, because I did not doubt myself. I did not doubt that I was a worthy friend to have. That is something I learned as a teenager. Anyway, so here's where I stand now. With what I do with YouTube, there's not a lot of interpersonal connection, like in person. I mean, like there's just not. I talk to a camera, and anybody that I meet online, none of the people I've like become acquaintances with over the past few years live near me. So that's a big barrier and one thing. And it's not like you can't have a really good friendship with somebody who long distance, but I think that does add another level of difficulty onto it. But here's what I've noticed. I've noticed this pattern that has happened. And this is definitely like my MO with trying to make friends in the past, 20 years or whatever. I start chatting with somebody and it seems like we have a lot of similar interests and we have a good conversation going. And I'm like, yes, I would love to be your friend. And this is like, it never fails. I will do one of two things, if not both things. I will send a care package because that is one of my love languages, is giving gifts. It has been for a long time. I've been trying to be less like materially focused in giving gifts, but that's been my MOs. I send a care package or I write a really big email or letter, whatever, sharing a lot. In my excitement of feeling like I'm connecting with somebody. And without fail, that always halts, like completely stops whatever connection I felt was going in its tracks. And I don't know if that's something on the other person's end, or I don't know if that's something on my end under the surface that I'm like subconsciously self-sabotaging. I don't know. A lot of the time I think, oh, it's something I said. They don't want to be friends with me. I overshared. I said too much. I sent too many gifts. They're overwhelmed. I've scared them off. And then I retreat and I don't pursue it. And it's like this has happened maybe a dozen times over the past few years with, people I've met through YouTube or, in just through my online presence. And it's just the last couple times it's happened, I've been like watching it happen while it happens, and I'm like, you are doing this and this and this every time, and it's happening the same. And is it one of those, it's not me, it's you, or it's not you, it's me? Like, and I'm always like grappling with that, and I just get really caught up in that feeling, and it just makes it so hard to even put myself out there with the next time an opportunity presents itself to like become better acquainted with somebody. It just makes it more difficult, it feels like, because I'm like, well, I just know how this is gonna go. Here's the thing. I need to be able to let myself pursue a friendship in a way that feels authentic for me and not criticize myself for it. If I want to send a care package or give a gift because that's who I am, I need to let myself do that. I need to not second guess myself. I need to let myself be free. And if the other person involved is ready to, accept my friendship for what it is, which includes me giving gifts and sharing a lot, once I feel I've made a connection in the hope that they share back. If the other person's not in the same place, ready for that, I need to accept that that is their experience and not let myself get so discouraged. And I just know there's gonna be, here's where I'm nervous to share this, because I just know that there's gonna be some people who are like, well, maybe it is you. Maybe nobody wants to be friends with you. Maybe you're just not a good friend. And I have said those things to myself so many times, and I cannot believe that anymore. I can't. That's not healthy. I need a minute. Just a minute. I'm gonna take a little tea break. Oh, who knew this? I knew this was gonna be emotional. I don't know who I'm kidding. what I'm doing now is I'm working very purposefully on being my own best friend. Having a very solid relationship with God helps a lot because God is love. And loving myself unconditionally is not something I know how to do naturally at this point in my life. And it's something I am really working towards. And I feel like the closer I get to that, maybe I'll never get there 100% right, but the more I work on it and the closer I get to that, the more I open myself up for true connection with other people. Oh, I did not know I was gonna cry this much in this video. I'm trying not to cry. As you can tell, like, this is very, like, this is an emotional nerve for me. This is tough. And I know I'm getting in my own way because there have been opportunities to connect with people from my past in recent months, and I have just not made the effort there. And I'm just, I don't know, I guess I'm just afraid of opening myself up and being rejected, because it feels like, just feels like that's the only experience I have. And it's like every time I feel like I am comfortable enough with a person, like I feel like we're on the same page, and then I open up, that's when they back away. But you know what? It's always worth putting myself out there in that way. Even if it always results in disappointment and feelings of rejection. What I'm learning now, more than ever, is how people react. And this involves, you know, any kind of reaction to something I put out. It's actually more a reflection of their inner goings-ons. How people react and how people interact is more of a reflection of their own inner experience than it is anything really about me or you or what, you know, whoever. This has been really eye-opening in the last few months. It's kind of a new way of thinking for me, and it has revolutionized, and I'm not using that word in an exaggeration, like I mean it. It has revolutionized my experience of relationships. I am much easier to let go, to not hold on to things, to not overanalyze or nitpick or think that everything is about me all the time. It's not. It's not about me. 98% of the time, it really has nothing at all to do with me. And I know that to be true because that is my experience as well on the other side of things. How I react to somebody, how, you know, how I interact, it's all about my own inner journey and what's going on with me at any given moment. And I need to apply that to other people as well. And that is also that's just really helping me reframe my interactions with others in a much healthier and less unnecessarily intense way, like where I feel like I have to take on all of this this weight of responsibility. I'm responsible for their bad mood. I'm responsible for them not responding to me. I'm responsible for them not liking something I'm saying. I'm responsible for, you know, whatever it is. I'm not going to take responsibility for that. Yes, sometimes I mess up and say and do the wrong thing. I'm human just like anybody else. But most of the time, I know I am doing my utmost, absolute best to be a really good human, to be a good listener, to be a good supportive friend, family member, partner, you know, mother, fill in the blank, whatever. I'm doing my best. I really am trying to be very present and supportive and what's the word? Sympathetic. So I know that I'm putting in the effort there. And yes, sometimes I slip up and I don't do the right thing. But I know that if I am doing my best to be the best human I can be, that's really all I can do. And I just have to be open and patient and continue my really necessary work on loving myself fully, and just be open. Be open. Let other people in. Let myself be vulnerable when it feels right. And know when something isn't necessarily about me. If something doesn't feel right or something goes wrong or whatever. Anyway, that's where I stand with my journey with friendship right now. I did not know where this video was going to go when I started filming it. It's probably been a very long video and I'm sorry. I feel like I could say a lot more. I feel like I could have said a lot less. I'm being really honest and vulnerable with you. This is kind of part of my journey as well, is sharing this and letting myself A, articulate it, and B, say it to other people is huge progress for me and very, very helpful in my journey. So anyway, I hope you guys don't think I'm like sitting at home twiddling my thumbs thinking, oh, woe is me, I have no friends. Like, I don't have that experience. My life feels very full. I feel very blessed with my family. I feel very filled with joy and love and purpose. I'm not sad. I'm not depressed. This is like the least anxious I've ever been in my entire life, and my anxiety continues to become less and less of a part of my life, really. I'm doing really, really well. This is one of those areas in my life where I feel this emptiness that I am now ready. And maybe I haven't been ready until now. Maybe I really haven't been ready. But I feel really ready right now to have a circle of friends that I can be there for, and who can be there for me. It can't be a one-way thing. I've done the one-way friendships, and those don't work. They don't work. It needs to be reciprocal. And I need to feel like I can be myself and pursue a friendship in a way that feels genuine to me. And if that's not received well, then it just wasn't meant to be, and I need to move on. So anyway, that's where I stand right now. I'm interested to see how the comments play out with this one. I'm really interested to see. I know this is tough to share about. I know, because it feels physically like I feel like a little like clenched right here, even talking about it on camera, because it's difficult. It's difficult to admit. It feels kind of like I feel like in this society it almost feels like a failure not to have like a close-knit group of friends that aren't people you're related to or people you've known for 25 years or whatever. But I don't know. I don't feel like a failure anymore. I used to. I don't feel that way. I feel very, very successful in the shifts and changes that I have really shaped with the relationships I have now, and they're just becoming more meaningful, and it is definitely taking time. It's going to take a lot of time, but I feel them shifting, and I am open to new friendships. I'm open. I'm putting it out into the universe. I am ready. I am ready. I will be there for you. Will you be there for me? I feel like that's a song. Anyway, that's my spiel for today. Another heavy let's chat topic, but I don't know. Let's chat more in the comments. I'd love to hear more about your experience. If you ever experienced sort of the same feelings as me, or something different, I'd love to continue the conversation. And I do hope to be back to posting at least once a week now. Hopefully twice a week, but once a week has been all I've been able to swing comfortably. I just try to film when it feels natural and comfortable, and that it slots into my life as a full-time mommy well. So anyway, I hope you guys are well. I have missed chatting with you, and I am looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say. And I hope you're all well. I hope fall is coming wherever you are. It's been so hot here, so we are definitely ready for fall. But happy fall, y'all. And I'll see you real soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. Bye.